Hi, in this video, I'll show you how to build a Node-RED web application and integrate your user interface to the model which is built by hitting a scoring endpoint that we have generated. In order to build Node-RED application which integrates to the model, first of all, you'd have created a auto AI experiment. You should have a model which is saved, and you should also have a model which is deployed. So I've already deployed a machine learning model which is trained to predict the health insurance premium. So if you want to see my deployment, you can click on services. Click on Watson Studio. Click on get started, and then you will get redirected to your Cloud Park data dashboard. Click on the deployment spaces. You'll find your deployment in the deployment spaces. Click on deployment spaces. So if you see here, I have created a deployment space for insurance premium prediction, which is named as insurance deployment. Click on that. Now here, if you open this model, you will find your deployments. So I've deployed two models for this ML model. So let's click on the first deployment. These are the API references that are used to integrate your applications with this model. So with the help of the scoring endpoint, you can send the input values and get the prediction as the output, right? So here you have curl API references. You can also integrate that with Java. You can also integrate that with JavaScript, Python, as well as Scala. So this is nothing but is called as scoring endpoint. So with the help of the scoring endpoint, I will be sending input values to the model to get the prediction. First, let's test the model by clicking on this test. So here there are some inputs. One is age. Let me give the age as 27. Sex is female. BMI, let's suppose it is 26. Children, I don't have any. Let's see. Let's put it as 0. I am not a smoker. Now, you have to check the region. You have to give the values that are there in the region column. So if you see the data set, so if you see this data set, the region we have southwest, northwest, southeast, northeast. So you can see what are all the regions that are being trained on. So here I have southwest, southeast, northwest, northeast. So let me give the same values as a region. I'm just giving it as southwest. So please click on predict. you can see the premium that I have to pay is 4590, 4590. Now I want to create a user interface where user can enter all these values and get this predicted output onto the UI. To do so, you have to send these values to the scoring endpoint in a particular format. The format can be seen over here, input data. So let me show you the format. So let me just give the values. Age is 24 and 26. Let's put children as 3 or so. Smoker, no. Region, northeast. Now just click on predict and see, once you get the result, see this. You can see the format of the values that are to be sent to the scoring endpoint will be in the form of this format. Now let's build the UI for it. So let me write some of the steps to build the UI. First one is to create a UI, grab the values from UI, set global variables to the UI, access token, with the help of HTTP request, send the input values to scoring endpoints along with access token using HTTP request. Get the predicted output, parse the output, showcase the output on UI, right? So here you can see that get the access token with the help of HTTP request. This step you can consider as getting an OTP. So if you want to transact any amount, until and unless you get an OTP, you'll not be able to do that transaction, right? In the same way, if you want to access the model and to get the prediction based on the values that you give, first of all, you have to get this output. So first of all, you have to get this OTP. OTP is nothing but your access token. In order to get this OTP, you have to create an IAM access API key. All right. So first I'll show you how do you create IAM API access key, and then we'll move on with the all the steps that I have written. All right. Now, so if you go to your dashboard or your IBM Cloud dashboard, you can see manage. Click here, select access IAM. Click on API keys. Now, create an API key. Make sure you save this API key. Let me give it as, I've already created a new key. Let me create it as auto AI key. I'm giving the name as auto AI. Description, I'm giving it as used for auto AI model integration. Now click on create. Make sure you download or save the API key. So I'm saving it on desktop. Close it. Once you are done with creating the API key, now let's get started with the web application building. For that, first of all, you have to open your Node-RED. I hope everyone has already installed the Node-RED application, Node-RED Cloud Foundry application. Created, not installed. Now click on Cloud Foundry apps. So now please click on this Node-RED. I've actually created 2 Node-REDs, but you'll be having only 1 Node-RED. So please click on the Node-RED that you have. Click on visit app URL. Click on go to your Node-RED flow editor. So your flows will be loaded. Let me create a new flow. Plus, so here, if you see my data set, I have 6 inputs: age, sex, BMI, children, smoker, region. These are the 6 inputs, and the expenses is my output, right? So first, let me create user interface where I can grab the values of age, sex, BMI, children, smoker, and region. So based on your data set, you create the inputs for sending the inputs to send these inputs to the model which is built. All right. So here, if you see, there are in the inputs, there are 3 integers and other 3 are textual data, right? So first, let me create. The first one is nothing but UI. So first of all, I'll show you how my UI looks like. So let me open Paint. I'll have a tab name here, a group name here, area to, a text input to enter my age, input to enter BMI, input to enter children, and selection for state, region, selection for sex, selection for smoker or no. I'll have 2 buttons, submit and cancel, and I'll have prediction label over here. So this is how my UI looks like. It's just the brief UI, a blueprint of my UI. Now, first creation of UI, right? So now here, let's grab form node. In this form node, let me add a new UI group. Click on add a new UI group. Click on edit. Give the group name as enter the values and tab. Add a new UI tab. Edit this. Give the tab name as prediction. It's your wish For giving this naming convention, click on add, click on add. Now here I have three integer values, right? So the first one is age. So whatever the age that I enter, that will be stored in a variable called a, and this is a number. And next, let me add two more elements. One is children, and I am giving a variable as c, and it is a number. It is a required parameter. Now I have another, which is BMI, body mass index. So let me give the variable name as b. It is a number, required parameter, done. So these are the integers. Now I will select drop downs. So here let me give the label as select your 6. So I'm giving it as female, and I showcase it as female. So that means whenever person clicks on this female option, the payload that is being generated is female. Then I'm giving the option as male. I'll send the string male as the input whenever the user selects the male. Done. So make sure you select the same group for this. Now take another drop down. Make it as are you a smoker? Give it as label as yes, and the payload that will be sent is yes. Add another payload option as no, and the payload that you send is no. Done. And now another drop down label, I'm giving it as you're from region, or you just give it as region. Select region, southwest, southeast, northwest, northeast. So let's see whether these are all the regions that we have. Southwest, southeast, northwest, northeast. Yes. So I'm giving the same values for the selection, same payload for the selection. So whenever the user selects the option, the respective payload is triggered. Now click on done. Now deploy it. Go to your dashboard. You can go to your dashboard from here. Click on this icon. Click on this pop-up. Then you can see. So ours is prediction tab. So click on prediction. Then you can see select sex. It is female. Are you a smoker? No. Select the region. It is southeast. Now let me give my age as 26. 2 children. BMI is 29. Click on submit. So whenever you submit, those values are injected onto the flow. Now let's see whether the values are coming onto this debug bar. For that, just drag the debug node and connect the debug node for Connect all these debug nodes with all the widgets. Deploy. Now go to your dashboard. These values are already given. Submit it. Now come to the node. You can see you got values from the form node, but deploy it. You should also get these values. Yeah, so let me check. I'm selecting it as mail. Yes. Northwest. Submit them. Go to the UI. Yes, you can see all the values have been received. So in A, age is being saved. In C, children's are saved. B is a variable where you store BMI. In the same way, whenever you have selected the sex, the payload that is being generated is male. Whenever you've selected the smoker, the payload that is generated is yes. Whenever you select the region, the payload that is being triggered is northeast. So that means we have created a UI for this. So the first step of the UI building is done. Next, grab the values. The values are also grabbed. Now you have to set the global variables to the values coming from the UI. So let me take function nodes. Let me take 4 function nodes. So global, I'm naming it as global variables for form node. I'm giving the name as form node. And here what I'm doing is global dot set of message dot payload dot a. So in message dot payload dot a, if suppose this is whole is considered as message dot payload, in that you have a, b and c. So a is nothing but your age. So I'm giving a variable called age comma message dot payload dot a. That means I am creating a variable, global variable age, and I am storing the value a coming from the UI. In the same way, do that for all the other variables: age, children, BMI. Age, children, BMI. Done. So I've set the global variables for my form node. In the same way, set the global variable for 6. So let me write this function name as 6. So global dot set 6 as message dot payload. So here I am not giving any variable. Whatever the payload that you send, that will be stored in message dot payload. So that's the reason message dot payload is being fed into the 6 variable. In the same way, do it for smoker. SMOKER, smoker comma message dot payload. In the same way, do that for region. Done. Once this is done, then what's the next step? Next step is to get the access token, right? So here, let's grab the HTTP request node. HTTP request. So here I have to send the API key as payload. API key as payload. So for that, what I do is in the function node, I will create a variable called where API key is equal to, and I'll say I have saved the file, right? So let me copy the API key from the file that I've just now downloaded. I've copied my API key and I've pasted over here. Once that's done, then you have to add headers as well as payload. So I hope if you are very familiar with HTTP GET request and POST request, then you will be familiar with the message dot headers or headers and payload. So let me create message dot headers. So message dot headers is equal to content type application x www from URL encoded. In the same way, payload will be I am giving my API key as my payload to the HTTP request node. Here I have to make it as post and change this as a parse JSON object, and in the place of URL put this URL https iam.cloud.ibm.com/identity/token. Deploy it. Now get a debug node and connect this to HTTP request. Now let's see whether we are able to get the API, the access token or not. So delete the previous values. If you want to deactivate these buttons, you can deactivate it, to stop printing the values. Now deploy it. Go to your dashboard, submit the values and check, yes, you got the access token. If you see, this is the access token. Now with the help of this access token, you have to send these values to the scoring endpoint. So let me write a function over here and call all the variables, create a header and payload variable and payload variable, and then send these values to the scoring endpoint. So let me grab all the values. So here I have created an age variable and I am calling the globally set value of age. In the same way, I'm calling the sex value, I'm calling BMI, children, smoker, region, and access token. So these are all the values that are needed to be sent to scoring endpoint. Then I have created a message.headers where I am passing my token, which is OTP. Then I am forming my message.payload. Remember when I have showed you the values over here, can you see the fields are age, sex, BMI, children, smoker, region, values is equal to 26, female, something like this. The same format is being implemented over here. If you see input data, fields, age, sex, BMI, children, smoker, region, values are age, sex, BMI, children, smoker, region, etc. Done. So I have grabbed the values and then I have to use an HTTP request. HTTP request. Here, select this as post, change this to a parse JSON object. Here you have to give your scoring endpoint. So your scoring endpoint can be grabbed from the API reference section. Copy this, paste it over here, and at the end add question mark version is equal to 2020-09-01. So you have to add this for sure. Question mark version is equal to 2020-09 and 1. Click on done. Now add a debug node. Deploy it. Now you can deactivate this. Now let's submit the values. You can see it is requesting and you got the prediction as the output. You can see the prediction is there in the values 0. So the prediction is 48497. So whatever the JSON data that we got here, if you see, whenever you predict, you got some JSON data here previously, right? The same sort of JSON data is being returned over here. From this, I would like to parse this output. So in IBM, they have given a feasibility to copy the path of this output. So here, if you select, you've got three options. Select the first option, which copies the path. Now, drag a function node, write message dot payload is equal to message dot paste the path that you've just now copied. Done. Now, grab the debug node, deploy it, delete the output. Now go to your UI, submit the values, go to your debug node. So you can see it is requesting. Now you got the output over here. Now I want to showcase this output on the UI. For that, I am dragging the text output node. Here, premium will be, I'm writing the label as premium will be. Done. Select the same, remember, select the same UI and group. Done. Deploy it. Now go to your dashboard, submit the values. Yeah, you can see the premium will be is showcased here. But this is coming in the middle of these input values, right? So I would like to adjust these widgets. In order to do so, go here, click on this enter values, click on done, click on this icon, click on this enter values. So drag this text below premium or above your drop downs. Deploy it. Go to your node grid. Now change the values. Female, no, southeast, 23, 0 children, 3 children, BMI is 22. Submit. Now you can see the premium is displayed over here. So this is how you will be building a UI which integrates to the model that is built using the scoring endpoint.